Zinc tutorial. My name is Bowman, and today I'm going to show you how to replace a handle in a striking tool. So regardless of what kind of striking tool you have, whether it be like a shop hammer, an axe, a sledgehammer, a ball peen, the assembly and instructions to install a handle are the same across all striking tools. The only variation is the type of head and the type of wedge that you use. Okay, so if you're using an axe, you have to pay attention to the downward turn of the head. So you can see with this double bit axe head right here that there's a more pronounced curve on this side of the head than here, which lets you know that this is the bottom of the head. Now, a mistake that a lot of people make is they'll set this down and put the handle into it, and then they accidentally put it in upside down because they're like, oh, here's the bottom when you set it down, and then they put their handle in there, and now your axe is on upside down. Okay, so remember, when we talk about the bottom, we're talking about the rest of the handle has to come out of that area. Okay, so you put the head right on top. So pay attention to that with axes, because sometimes it's very hard to tell which one is the top and which one is the bottom. However, a lot of heads, in most head manufacturers, the way that they're designed is that the bottom of the eye will actually be slightly smaller in diameter than the top of the eye. Okay? The reason for that is you want this to be pretty tight when it goes down to the shoulder of the handle. And when I mention the shoulder, I'm talking about this piece right here. So you want that to fit pretty tight when you get it on there so that you have to actually drive it down. And the reason this is a little bit bigger is because when you put your wedge in there, it spreads that out. And when this part is wider than the bottom, there's no way that it can come back off, because you don't want to be hammering something and then the head go flying, because that would be very, very dangerous. Okay. So what I'm going to show you here, if you can see it kind of close up here, you can see there's like a little ridge, almost looks like a grind or a weld line inside this head. It's really hard to tell, but that usually is the top side of the head. So sometimes you might find a really old head in like a flea market or something, and you may not be able to tell the stamp or which side's which. If you don't have calipers, you can usually look for that groove, and that groove is usually the top side of the head. So on a driller, these are the most common things to put in upside down, because they have a flat side here, and then they have this tapered side. The tapered side is always the top. The reason for that is this is supposed to slide along surfaces and help you hit different angles. And if you have this on the bottom, then the functionality of the driller hammer is useless. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate how to install a handle starting with one of our 4-pound sledge heads, okay, or a shop hammer. And here I've got a 16-inch handle, all right. And what I'm going to do is I always take the stamp side that has the poundage and the country of origin on it, and that is going to be the bottom of the head. So it's going to face just like this, okay. I'm going to kind of give it a little tap to get it started. You can see that it's in there now. You'll want to have some stacked up cardboard or a shop mat or something like that you can put this handle on, because when you go to drive this on, if you're not careful, you're going to split this wood. So you don't want to really be sitting here banging on this with a hammer or anything like that, because that will damage it and could split your handle, and then you got to go back to the hardware store or call us and order a new one, and you don't want to waste your time doing that. So I'm going to set it on here. I'm just going to drive it down, and if you can hear, you can actually tell the sound changes when it's fully seated. Hear that hollow thud? That means that your head is fully seated. If you don't hear that, you're probably not all the way there. And also, when you're driving it down, you'll feel the difference in the way that it bounces. When it gets to the bottom, it'll kind of get a little spring to it, and you know, okay, I'm all the way there. All right? So now you'll see that I've got all this wood sticking out of the top, and that's when we go to our wedge. Now, a wedge pack, if you order one from us, has a wooden wedge and also a metal wedge. Okay? Now, at this stage of the installation, you only want to use the wood wedge. So we have several different kinds. We have an axe wedge, which is much wider and it's thicker here. We have a hammer and a sledge wedge, which are identical in wood, but you can see that the sledge, because it's a bigger handle, has a much larger metal wedge. Okay? And then we have a small hammer, which is this little piece of wood with a little bitty metal wedge. Okay? So these will pretty much work with any size striking tool, one of these 4 sizes. Okay? Now we also have round wedges. We have a larger round wedge, a smaller round wedge, and you can even get even smaller ones of these if you want to. And these are good because they provide 360 degrees of spread in your handle. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to that stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and make sure that my split is actually wide enough for the wedge to start, okay? If it's not, you're going to want to take a chisel or something like that and kind of get that to spread back apart. And once it's nice and spread apart like that, you're going to just very gently tap that in there. You want to try to get it as centered as you can. Now, sometimes people freak out on this part because the wedge will crack. And people are like, oh, I broke it, but you're supposed to break it, okay? It's kind of a one-size-fits-all. So as I start to drive this in, it's going to hit the sides of the head, and that excess wood is going to split off, which is why you always wear safety glasses when you're doing this. And plus, anytime you could accidentally strike metal on metal, there's a chance that flakes could fly off or something like that, and that could be really dangerous. So I'm going to drive this in. Okay, so now that it is in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bandsaw and I'm going to just very easily cut right across the top of this and make it flush. Now, if you don't have a bandsaw, which a lot of people don't, a hacksaw or anything like that would work just fine. Please don't use a skill saw or something because that could be really dangerous, okay? So once you have it cut, it'll look like this. It'll be flush along the top. And now it is time for the wood wedge. So what we're going to do here is I know that this is a hammer, so I have my little metal wedge. But for assembly purposes in this case, I'm going to go ahead and show you how both of these work. So on a metal wedge, what you want to do is you want to turn the metal wedge perpendicular to the facing of the head. Okay? So my head's running this way, so I want this to go like that. All right? Now if you're using a round wedge, it doesn't matter. You just want to put it right in the center, and it will spread out and it'll be fine, okay? So I'm just gonna make sure that I've got everything how I want it. I've got it all nice and neat. And then I'm just gonna put my wedge on there. Remember, this is the same process whether it's round or a flat wedge. And I'm just gonna drive this in, get it started. Then give it a couple good whacks so that it's flush. And now you have a perfect handle ready to go to work, okay? And that is the same for axe, sledge, shop hammer, any striking tool works the same way. One more thing, if you have a large oval eye, so certain roofing hatchets or roofing hammers, some axes or mauls, you may actually use 2 wedges instead of 1. So there's a popular brand of roofing hammer, and what they do is they have a larger, because it's like a tapered head, which most kind of hatches and axe style things are, they have a bigger round wedge in the front and then a little round wedge towards the taper, okay? That gives you even more stability when you're not only hammering but also prying. It just gives you a little bit more solid eye. For a regular striking tool, 1 wedge is usually plenty. It's just, because you're not prying anything with a sledgehammer, it's not going to hurt anything. But you might see sometimes if you go to the store and you look at some sort of roofing hatchet or something, you might want to have, it might come with 2 wedges. So if you see that, the way that works, you'll have like a round eye, which this has an oval eye, right? But it would be like big on one side and small on the other. Remember, just put your larger round wedge on the large side of the taper and the smaller one on the small side of the taper. And you'll be good to go. So, if you want to order some handles from us, or some wedge packs, or even a head for one of your tools, get a hold of us at bowmanhandlesinc.com or on Facebook at Bowman Handles Inc. And you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Bowman Handles, or you can call us toll free at 1-800-736-0390. Thank you.